I sent it to you on Facebook. Just click on the link.
Which link?
The link. Hold on. May not be support on your browser. I don't actually think
Copy this link and I'll go in here and see if that works.
so I don't know if I actually need you. We're gonna find out.
Download from App Store. How much does that cost? Or should I just
I don't think I'll need. Let me see. Share screen. It is recording. Okay. The dogs are fighting. Recording on this computer. Okay, I think I'm good. Can you get these hooligans out of here?
guys leave the babies alone? Yeah, just come back and open up the door.
Okay,
Okay, over here. Over here.
go, guys.
Get over here. Come on. See? Come on. Okay, we're good.
Oh, right. I think you all should recognize this because, again, I'm an old guy and really love Terminator 2. Showing my age here. But, all right. So, this is the video of me doing my end of the audio editing to kind of show you from beginning to end. And I already had one clip that I have here, say to the desktop, George Audio, that was already put together pretty well. So I actually am going to use a clip from one of my YouTube videos I did on the Lost World because the mic I was using and being in my apartment here when I used it, you can really start to hear that hum and everything, and it needs boosted up quite a bit. So I'm gonna do use the Lost World to kind of boost up the audio and kind of give you a sense of how to clean that up using all the same tools that I showed you in class last time. So again, I have DaVinci Resolve download, so it's right here on my desktop. So just go and double click that, and then it's going to take its time coming up here. Everything needs time to load. So the pictures will vary, but your DaVinci Resolve come. I haven't updated mine in a while, so whatever you guys have is probably newer than 19. But we'll get this up here. Usually I'm not impatient because maybe just messing around on my phone, but now that I know I'm recording this for you guys, there we go. Okay, let's go to now. If you're brand new in here, I have this created already for us here. But if you're brand new in here and you need to start a whole new assignment, you just go down to New Project and there it goes. You type it in, create, and then it would come up with a new timeline. But I'm going to go to cancel because I'm going to click on the one that I've already created here. And once you save something, you'll see it every time that you come back in wherever you had left off when you got out of it last time. So I'll double click on teaching audio. And I don't think, oh, something did come up. Okay. So ignore what I'm doing right here because I'm going to show you how to bring this in and deal with it once you get it in there. So I have the audio clip that I need in here already, but if I didn't have it already saved in here, I would go File to Import Media, and I already have the file up here. is, my YouTube, Lost World, raw audio, and the clip that I have is already in the timeline. Again, I would either click and hit open or double click it to put it in the bin here. Now it's already in here, so I didn't actually do it. And to give you a sense down here, these are kind of a few things you can scroll through. This is, again, if you want to bring things in directly to see your clips. Again, I just prefer bringing them straight into the bin. I like going right to the source. If you want to pre-cut your clips before you bring them into your timeline, you can do it here. I don't mind cutting in the timeline. This is an effects tab, something you probably won't need to worry about unless you actually are looking to do video editing. This is what a lot of people love DaVinci Resolve for. This is our color correction area where you can do all kinds of different things with clips. Until we get to any type of thing involving video, you'll be focused on just audio only, so you won't need about color correcting anything. And from here, this is if you're looking to work just specifically with audio, but I'm telling you right now, this is a pretty jumbled thing here. Every single tool in here you can access from your main timeline. So if you are somebody who's hyper focused on having everything all at once, you can, but there's nothing you can do here that you can't do over here. And then lastly, our little rocket ship here, they kind of lay it out a little obvious for us, is once it wants to get over there. Come on. Come on. There we go. This is where we can create our videos for export once they're ready to send out. I usually have it set to QuickTime because I do a lot of videos, either for clients, for my own films, or YouTube, what have you. So I have it set to QuickTime, but we'll deal with exporting these later. I just want to make sure that you guys understand how to bring them in and start editing them. So again, let's go to our main editing tab. And so again, we went to File, we went to Import, we went to Media, and we got this clip. So I like to just bring it straight down in the timeline using my mouse, bring it right on in there. And a couple of things, let me minimize my face here for since I'm recording this to Zoom. You'll see a couple of tabs for audio right away. And if there was video, it would probably start in the video tab. Since we only brought in audio, it went right to the audio tab. We'll see that we'll be dealing with the effects tab in a minute, but let's not get ahead. So right now, the audio is going to be a little bit low.
4, 3, 2, 1, and we are a go. And sometimes
If you see here, obviously the levels aren't going that high. You can make this larger if you want, but I don't mind it being this size. So let me go ahead and increase the overall height of the audio. And you can do that by clicking, like click this way, click that way, or you can scroll on this and bring it up. As you can see, the waveform here is getting much larger. So, but again, if you're like, hey, wait a minute, I think I might have done that a little bit too much here. There is this reset button on everything you do. So everyone, I don't even know, what was it on? Oh, right, 0. But again, if you click that, it'll get you back to where you need to be. So I'm going to just try to bring this to about 13 and see how we sound.
And we are a go. And sometimes I actually find it easier to match up talking a whole bunch.
So that's good for levels, but as you can see, did you hear that hum? Listen to this.
And
so I'm going to take care of that in a second. But again, I just want to go over a few of these other tools again real quick. So pan will get you to be, right now it's right in the middle.
And we are a go. And sometimes
Your
I
left
actually
speaker,
find it easier to match up talking the whole bunch.
your right speaker,
ramble on. Okay, ramblers, let's ramble.
and I'll reset that to 0. Okay, so we'll go back over here. And I think I showed you this. Pitch is a very sensitive thing. It's either you are trying to do just a little to make a minor correction for pitch, or you're purposely trying to affect it. So if we have
Talking
this,
a whole bunch, I'm just going to ramble on. Okay.
now I sound like a monster, right? No, I don't. Keep it to yourself if you think I sound like one in class too. All right, and if we go the other way, I'm going to sound like Alvin and the Chipmunks. which sound like a little bit like Alvin and the Chipmunks and an alien. But let's just go ahead and reset those. There's nothing issue, I don't think, with my pitch. So I should be set there. Now the equalizer, see how this is grayed here? Because it doesn't organically come on. So if I want to put it on, I can just click it, and now see it's red. That means it's on. And it wants to show me band 2 and band 3. I want to put on band 4 and band 1. Now, this is a tool that I want you to not be afraid to play with because this is not an audio class. So I'm not going to go into all the details on exactly what each band means and how you can change it, but it is something that you can kind of come in and mess around with and try to play a little bit with sound. But right now, what I want to do is, since I'm getting so much background hum, this is going to drop the top and lower of the EQ on here, which is going to just start to deal with that background hum just a little bit for me. Oh, and this right here, I should mention this, is to allow you to see your timeline larger, especially if you have to make specific cuts, or if you want to get a sense of, okay, where am I in the project? You can lower the overall size of it. And so I'm going to click right here because that's where I want to play from because I want to hear the hum. And you hit your space bar to move your play bar. So,
And
that's still coming in pretty solid. Now, this is just the beginning, so it's not going to fix it completely, but it is lowering it. Let's see what happens if I turn it off. It's not changing it overly, but every little bit counts. And here's what we don't want to do, because essentially we're adding a lot more bass to this than treble. So if we really just went crazy here,
and we are a go. And sometimes I actually find it easier to match up.
see, now does it sound like kind of like underwater in another room? So yeah, you don't want to push things too far. So I just hit what I did there to get it back to where I had it was I hit Control Z. Control Z up to about half a dozen things will fix mistakes that you made. So if you're like, oh shit, how'd I get here? You can hit Control Z up to a certain amount of times. So since that was just two moves, I hit Control Z, and got it back to where I wanted. So now we have our main ingredients in our pot, but now we want to add, I guess, for lack of a better term, our spices. So I'm going to go up here to our media pool and then go down to our audio FX. And there are all kinds of things in here. I think I showed like, if you're doing something like a skit on your podcast, or if you're doing something with audio more, let's go with a crazy tool here. So I'm going to click on Flanger and bring it in here. Now you're going to see if I play this, it's it's done for a variety of reasons, but some people do it for kind of like an alien sound. So let me play. Hit spacebar.
And we are a go. And sometimes I actually find it easier to match up. Talking a whole bunch, I'm just going to ramble on. Okay, ramblers, let's ramble. Ramble, ramble, ramble. Okay, here we go. All right.
So again, that's just kind of one. It didn't come in as actually as intense as I thought it would, but just to give you a sense that once you have one of these filters on, it's going to affect the overall sound of it. Now, if you have a filter on that you don't want anymore, little trash can here will get it off. If you want it off temporarily, if you do that, you're not going to hear it any longer. If you want to hear another filter on there and come back to it, but if you just don't want the damn thing at all, trash can, okay, look, no, there's no filters, nothing to inspect. The first thing you're going to want to do is, even if you got really clean audio, let's go to your noise reduction. And again, we're using DaVinci Resolve here, but it really doesn't matter what software you're using. They're all going to have some variation of noise reduction. They're all going to have a vocal channel. They're all going to have, EQ. So this is just because I do this all the time in DaVinci Resolve. But whether you're using Premiere, Final Cut, Audition, you're going to find all these things just possibly differently, slightly differently named, different placement of the buttons. But once you learn one, you kind of have learned them all. So let me go ahead and go to speech mode, which is going to try to take out the hum and focus entirely just on the vocals.
And
Now that's pretty good. It's pretty low there, but there are a couple of features down here that can help me perfect it just a little bit more. So again, I'm going to talk about these things as you're seeing them. Uh, so I'm just going to pretend I don't really know what any of these do. I'm just going to play with them, which is what I want you guys to not be afraid to do. So let's go ahead and say, okay, well, let's see what happens if I play it in.
And we are
Okay, threshold didn't seem to do a whole lot.
and we are a go.
Actually, let's go back to the beginning. Let's just increase that just a little bit here because it did seem like it helped a little bit. Okay, and the overall attack
And we are a go. And we are
didn't do much. Control Z. What about the sensitivity?
and we are a go. And sometimes I actually find it easier to match up.
Not too much of a difference. So again, instead of hitting Control Z, I just got that back to the beginning. So let's see what happens if I put on the or mess with the frequency and smooth.
And we are a go.
Okay, that's what we had.
And we are a go.
Hmm, that didn't sound great. Again, I hit Control Z to get it back to the beginning.
And we are a go. And
All right, not bad, not bad. Now, dry wet, you're going to see this on a lot of these filters. What that means is, and I use the example of reverb in class, and I'll show you that as well, is that when you hit reverb, it's going to come in pretty hot. It's going to be, that echoey. Shouldn't use the word echo because echo and reverb are two different things, but you're going to really hear that large building, with all that pickup. If you wanted just a hint of that, you could set it down to dry, and it's just going to be a little bit. But if you wanted it to go all the way, wet is going to go as hard on the filter as you can.
and we are a go. And sometimes I actually find it easier to match up.
Which that didn't do much, but as you can see, if I just get this down below, see how you can really start to hear the noise again? Because I ended up pushing it almost like this entire filter isn't even on anymore because it's so low on dry. So I'll just reset this.
And we are a go. And
So makeup is going to make it up. It's going to put a little bit more in there. So if we even just maybe drop this just a little bit.
and we are a go. And sometimes I actually find it easier to.
And as you can see, actually my audio looks like because I've added the EQ on here and I've added this, it seems like it's getting a little quieter. Now, the idea is that you don't want to add one thing where you have to keep adding another thing just to keep getting back to the base level. But because it went a little lower, I think I might be able to get away with just adjusting this to 15. So let me see what I have now.
And we are a go. And sometimes I actually find it easier to match up. Talking a whole bunch on.
Okay, I think that's pretty good. So yeah, I was able to get it a little bit higher, but let me bring in reverb to show you just an example really of dry and wet and what it'll do for you here. So I'm going to bring in reverb. And again, reverb won't be something that you normally mess with, but I just want you to hear the difference. So
And we are a go.
okay, so yeah, we have that pretty loud now. Um, so let me go ahead and go to this effect. So as you see, reverb is on. And let me go down to dry and wet. So let me go ahead and play.
And it easier to match up. Talking a whole bunch on.
Hopefully you can hear that difference. So now it's just faintly there. And even you could still hear it if it's just a little bit. Just a little. So
Ramble on. Okay, ramblers, let's ramble.
it's just a little bit of reverb there. Sometimes you'll have that in, say, like filmmaking, if you want to add just a little bit of like, if you've recorded it in a booth and you want it to have a little bit more life to it, you can add just like even a little bit less than that, just
Ramble, ramble, ramble. Okay, here we go.
just to give the life a little bit more room. But as you could see, once I put it so far down dry, you didn't really hear the reverb as much. Okay, go ahead and I'll just get rid of this completely because we don't need that. And there are other things that we can play with here, like vocal channel is a good one to have on there. And again, don't be threatened by, how many buttons there are here. Just don't be afraid to play with them. And again, if you want some more information on what each one of these things means, you can ask me, you can ask Joe, you can ask the internet, or if you just say, well, I know that if I do this and this inside vocal channel, it's going to make it sound as best as possible, and that's really all I need, then that's perfectly fine too. So let me go ahead and just temporarily turn off noise reduction because I want to hear just the vocal channel.
All right.
So let me just check what happens with low gain here.
Okay. Okay. Get that out.
Oh, that was delightful. Good job, John. Okay. Let's just see what happens if we mess around with mid gain. Okay, that went way too high. Let's switch that back to the beginning. Okay. What about the high frequency gain? What happens? So see, I'm just listening to dead air here, which gives me a sense of the.
The Lost World opens with Site B, which makes perfect sense.
Okay. Not really much there.
The Lost World opens with
Not much there either. Let's switch that down that way. Okay, so not a whole lot. What about compressor gain?
The Lost World opens with Site B, which makes perfect sense. The
You can see I'm not one take Johnny. But all right, so we have both of those on now. So that's pretty good.
the Lost
Can't really hear much there. And then let's go finally here to dialogue processor. Those are going to be the main ones, but again, don't be afraid to play around with these things. Uh, do not hesitate. See what each one of them does. Bring them in, check them out. See what the difference, between echo and reverb is. We just heard reverb, but imagine that, but this, imagine this. Then you'll have echo on there. So I'm gonna go and turn off this and vocal channel. Let's just get a sense of dialogue processor by itself. There's a little bit of a rumble. Let's see if I turn that. Okay. See how I turn it that way? Boy, you can really hear it. So let's get it back to where it was. Let's just turn it up a little bit because that's helping crush that rumble. That rumble that was been the problem from the beginning.
The Lost World opens with Site B, which makes perfect sense.
So yeah, we want to control our pop and
The Lost World opens.
so composition threshold. Okay. So yeah, let's turn that up a little bit. What about exciter amount?
The Lost World opens with.
That is oh, setter mode. Yeah, I'm a dude. Let's switch it to male.
The Lost World opens with Site.
Okay, we really don't need that much of an adjustment, but maybe just bring it down a little. Okay, that's doing pretty good. Let's go ahead, put our vocal channel back on, and let's go up to our noise reduction.
The Lost.
I can just barely hear that because I have noise canceling headphones on. But as you can see,
The Lost World.
other than me going with my mouth, it is really not picking that up at all. That and the fact that for this audio too, I would put an audio track underneath it, which wouldn't always be the case, but that's kind of like throwing a little bit of extra frosting on a cake to kind of cover if there's any imperfections. But I'd say we're in pretty good shape here.
Only born on the initial island in a controlled environment under specific supervision.
And that's coming in good audio wise. Again, let's maybe even just see if we can push our luck, push it up to 16.
In a controlled environment.
Our volume, that is.
Under specific supervision. After the control of species of dinosaurs. So John Hammond can be there when they are born. That there isn't any issue with breach of the island.
Okay. So, a few other things in terms of actually editing the clip, because I wanted to do this to the entire thing before I start editing any of these clips, chopping them up, because now the effects that I desire is on the whole thing. So let me go ahead and, because all the beginning is a bunch of errors, let me see.
The Lost World opens with Site B, which makes perfect sense. The Lost World.
Okay, that's the first line, so anything before this is not needed. So I'm going to put where I want my play header here, where I want to make my cut, and the keyboard shortcut for cutting is B. You see a little razor there, like this is an old film strip, and we go ahead and put our cut in there. And because all this stuff, so again, I'll minimize all this here. I keep pointing to the screen like you guys can see my finger. All this stuff I want to get rid of, I can highlight, and I can either go right click, cut, or Control X if you want to use the keyboard shortcut. I've gotten into the habit of, even though it's slower, and I'd have to change that if I was in the news, because you got to get stuff out right away, is to go right and hand and click. Um, and let's just say let's just cut it there. And none of this works. So I can also do this, where I can grab it from the end and I can say, well, nothing here works until here. I don't even know what this audio is, but let's just go ahead and we can bring this all the way over and just get rid of it that way too. Um, if you know that, say there's like just some dead air there and you can do it that way. So,
Okay. Wait. So John Hammond.
all right. So let's just pretend I'm sure I didn't, that I nailed this line here. Now, there's two ways we can bring this together. Assuming that you know you have it perfectly matched up, you can left click the area in between, hit backspace, and it'll bring the clips right together. Now, that's not always the case. So I'm going to hit Control Z. What I like to do is kind of layer them. That's a personal choice. You may want to get them pinched right up next to each other. But what I would do here, and these aren't going to match because, well, I just cut out a bunch of stuff to show how to make the cuts. But let me go ahead and get this like a little bit of extra air out here. Now mine is not making any sense. I'm going to bring this and let's just line that up here. Let's see.
Sense because this is a B movie. So John Hammond can be there when they are born. That if there isn't.
Okay, so even though that didn't make any sense going from that line to that, I'd say that that works pretty well here. And there's like, you could see there's just a little bit of extra audio there that's not needed. We can cut that out.
So John Hammond can be there when they are born. That if there isn't.
Again, you don't want to get too cut happy here because you want it to be conversational. Again, if somebody has a brain fart or they sneeze or you guys take a break or somebody in the hall is too loud, you can cut those out, but don't cut out every like and don't, if something catches you all funny and you start laughing about it and it seems organic and seems the audience would like it, don't cut that out. Go ahead and keep that kind of thing in. Oh, and one thing I haven't mentioned yet, and I'm glad it hasn't backfired on me, I'm glad this thing didn't corrupt on me, is you always, always, always want to save as much as humanly possible. So I should have been saving that entire time. I set a bad precedent here. The first time you want to save it is save project as. So I would go and save this, this way. The reason it says copy is because I already saved it before I even brought this open to show you guys. So actually, since it is that, I can just go to save or Control S. Control S will do the same thing. But I feel more comfortable being my neurotic self going to save project. I'll do that every couple of minutes just because the last thing you want is to be working for 3 hours. The whole thing corrupts. It wasn't saved, and you got to start from the beginning. I've seen people just give up when something like that happens. So that is everything up until, if you have your timeline ready to go, your project, you threw in your bumper on the beginning and the end, you got your audio exactly where you want it, you got your free to use audio. From there, you would go to deliver, i.e., render this, send it out, and get it ready for an RSS feed, which we will go over another time. But I just wanted you all to be able to realize how to use the system here in order to get it going for that, and we will deal with rendering another time. But this is my video for you guys to use as a reference point for if you need a reminder on exactly where the buttons are, where you go to find things. And yeah, but obviously you will have me as a guide. You'll have Joe as a guide. You have Ray as a guide. You have Doc Jones as a guide. Uh, so yeah, don't hesitate to contact any of us. We'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have pertaining to this, but just wanted to give an initial bare bones as possible idea here of how to be able to be cutting your clips together, how to clean up your audio, how to use some effects, filters, what have you. So yeah, all right, I'll stop my share here and I'll go ahead and stop my recording. And that'll be it. All right. I hope this is helpful, guys. And I will see you all this week in class. All right. Take care.